What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. A special
Hold on,
episode.
dude. Start that again, because like my clap was like right there, and then you started. So sorry. Okay, go ahead.
What's going on, guys? Special edition of the JKB Sports Podcast with a real cool, solid dude, my man. To the left of me, Cabbie. What's going on, man?
I'm wonderful. Thank you very much for having me, man.
Thanks for coming out.
I appreciate being back in school because this brings back memories of 9 and 10 in classes and playing Grand Theft Auto and Madden in my university days.
You play Madden?
I did, yeah.
What's your team?
It was my team is the Tennessee Titans. Listen, the Tennessee Titans had a resurgence this year, but forever the Tennessee Titans are like 7-9, 8-8, 9-7 for like 20 years. And if you like, Adam likes Cleveland Browns, and he feels the certain pain. Cleveland Browns are a horrendous franchise.
Yeah.
I say that, and perhaps I'll work with them for some time, so I take that back. But that's the team I played with.
You know what's funny? Because I'm actually like the biggest Ravens fan.
Nice.
And this year I was like, we're going to the Super Bowl and we're gonna win it because there's not a team in the NFC that can really, bang with us, especially offensively and defensively. Not in the NFC. I think we would have the 49ers. I think we would have smoked the 49ers, but we kind of laid an egg against you guys, and that was a tough.
Lamar Jackson, I think, had like 500 yards. I mean, some of those were in garbage time. You don't really hear garbage time as much in the NFL, but it's the Tennessee Titans did proudly hang that W in Baltimore's in Big Trust.
Oh man, that's it, Big Trust. So actually, now that you're a Titans fan, do you think, or what do you think the chances are? Obviously, you're in the media and you hear the rumblings of Brady going to either staying in New England or now he's linked to Tennessee or he's linked to the Raiders. As a Tennessee fan, would you want to see him on your team? And are you happy with Tannehill's performance? What do you take of the season?
Very happy with Tannehill's performance. I feel like they're going to franchise tag him and let Derrick Henry walk, but I have no idea because I'm not.
Derrick Henry walk?
Oh, he was amazing. Listen, trust me. Like he's 6'3", 227 or something.
Yeah.
He's 27 years old.
Yeah.
He had an unbelievable season. And Tannehill had this incredible resurgence. But so you're paying $30 million a year because the mark has been set by the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
For 2 years of Tom Brady at 43 years old and 44 years old.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown is legit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he would love to throw the ball to A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
You also heard the L.A. Chargers going to offer him some money, and heard randomly the Colts as well.
Yeah.
I have no idea where Tom Brady's going to go. Would I love to see Tom Brady in a Tennessee Titans uniform? Of course.
Yeah.
But he'll probably stay in New England,
okay.
I think.
Okay, and I don't think he will just because of all the scrutiny that's going on now. Now you see like he came out, I think he didn't come out and say anything, but it was like he's approaching free agency like he's going to leave. Do you think that is any real smoke to the fire, or do you think that's all just Tom Brady being media savvy and knowing how to play the role of I may do this, I may do that, and do you think that's a real thing or just all smoke? He's going to end up actually back in New England.
It's interesting because the Patriots, they were the first ones. I think it was either Robert Kraft or Jonathan Kraft saying, "I hope he resigns" or "I hope he retires."
Yeah.
But the Patriots are traditionally tight-lipped about everything.
Yeah,
so to hear even like murmurs come out is interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting play, and I think the Patriots leaked that first, just to get a temperature of their fan base and how they would react to Tom Brady leaving. And then Tom Brady, for him, like to explore free agency. Yeah, like you want to be courted by other teams and check your options and see what's available, and then look at other rosters. And obviously he needs a tight end or a couple of tight ends. George Kittle and Travis Kelce, all-world tight ends.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Rob Gronkowski was the predecessor to those two. So, and that helps him stay young. Just having a guy just go a hot route, through the seam route, or over the middle, that can get 11, 12 yards when you need. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. And also, well, first things first. Being with you right now is like a real big achievement to me personally. I grew up watching it. We spoke about it before, and I was like, "Yo, I got Cabbie on the pod. Like, it's lit." And he was like, "Yo, for real." And for us, this is like there's not many people in the media that I've looked up to, at least in Canada-wise, just because, there's not many people of color. Like, let's just, you know what I mean? There's a few of us. So you doing what you did and like looking up some stuff, just look at some specifics. You interned, and I'm interning now too, and it's like, this guy really took correct steps. He worked his ass off and got to where you are now, which is like where I'm trying to get to.
Wonderful.
So just the fact that you're even here and spending some time. I know you're a very busy person. You're not really fully located in Toronto anymore. You're out and about doing a lot of big stuff that we'll get into in a bit. But just off the bat, I just do want to say I appreciate you coming.
Thank you, Jerome.
Thanks for being here. And with that out the way now, much of stuff. So the Raptors. You're still a Raptors fan?
Yes.
You didn't switch sides yet?
No. Listen, I live in Las Vegas. I work for Bleacher Report, but I still am very dialed in with what happens with the Raptors. That 15-game win streak was amazing. Mm-hmm. I don't know where you're going to post this, but recently they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Bucks came to Toronto and handled business. Yeah. Their average margin of victory, I think, is 12 points, which is otherworldly right now.
They dominate.
They hung, I think, an 11-point W on the Raptors. So I still follow them, and it's been amazing to watch Nick Nurse
he's
change lineups and change defenses seemingly on the fly based on what's happening in the flow of a game. He's just a brilliant basketball mind. Yeah. And then just had so many different lineup configurations because various players have been hurt at the same time. One starter goes out or whatever, but it's been awesome to watch how the Raptors have been staying afloat near the top of the I was going to say AFC, near the top of the Eastern Conference. Despite the fact that so many bodies have been injured.
You know what the crazy thing is that, like, when I remember the Raptors announced that Nick Nurse was going to be hired, and he was from Raptors 905. Yeah. I was really like, oh my gosh, like, you got rid of Dwayne Casey, Coach of the Year.
No, but Nick Nurse was already on the staff, though. He wasn't just the G League coach and then came to the Raptors.
There's not a team in the league that I can say has used the farm team as much as the Raptors have, where they've had a potential Coach of the Year through the farm team. They have, Terrence Davis, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, who are in line. Well, we've seen Pascal get his max contract. Fred VanVleet, I don't know if he's going to get max money, but he's going to get a large lump sum of a raise. Mm-hmm. Do you see other teams maybe using their farm team more?
Interesting.
Do you see an increase in that type of avenue, or do you think that Raptors are just like that team to really do that? Because, same thing with the Marlies and the Leafs.
The Raptors are a great test case for success from using your G League franchise and growing and developing your players into becoming NBA starters. Yeah. I haven't followed other teams enough to give you
and that's the thing,
a fair appraisal.
We don't even know about them. We don't follow them because it's really it's not a factor. Minus the Raptors, who we've seen have direct success come from the G League team to the NBA. So that.
Yeah, but the Spurs are interesting because Greg Popovich and R.C. Buford have been in place for 20 years, and I can't even think of what players have come up. I'm sure they have. Yeah. But they're just, that staff is just they're great talent evaluators, and until this year, the team has just been a perennial playoff team for 50 win, for I don't know, two decades.
Yeah. So on the last pod I said. Greg Popovich, obviously.
Your last podcast?
So the last one. I was just addressing. It wasn't a quick. It was a quick thing about Greg Pop. The same thing we talked about the Spurs and like how they're having kind of a down year, which is really shocking. Or not shocking now because we see the elevation of the league, but just as the Spurs is their franchise, it's kind of like, oh damn, like they're really not. They're fighting for a playoff spot. Tim Duncan is on the staff recently as an assistant coach. Mm-hmm. Greg Popovich, I'm not going to say he's losing his sauce as a coach because obviously he's the coach. But do you think almost maybe, Manu's gone, Tony's gone, Tim's on the staff. Do you think Pop is an old school type of coach where, maybe it's time to go? Or?
Good question. Do I think it's time for Greg Popovich? I think because he's a legend and he's one of the most accomplished coaches in the history of the league, he'll just go whenever he wants to go. Yeah. Is it his time to go? I don't know what's in his heart, and maybe it's fatigue, or maybe he's
he softened up too.
Sure.
He was a little nicer talking to the
media.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I mean, skills-wise, I don't think it's time for him to go, but I don't know what's in his heart. I mean, he lost his wife, I think, 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago. It was likely his best friend.
Yeah.
And someone that kept him going. So perhaps some of that energy has been depleted.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. I mean, this is definitely a new challenge for him. It's like you're coaching 2 stars in LaMarcus and DeMar DeRozan, and finding a way to have success with those 2 particular guys.
With their gameplay, their skill set.
Yeah, and who love the mid-range. Their games are kind of built in that mid-range, where as the NBA is such a perimeter league, and you got to find ways to win. I'm curious to see how that one ends or plays out.
Yeah. Okay, and obviously we in the West, it's almost a 2-team race. We can kind of say. I think there's a couple teams that might throw a little something in, but for the most part, it's kind of Lakers and Clippers.
Okay.
Do you see another team? Because if I had to pick a sleeper, I would say either Denver or Utah. Houston might do a little something because the small ball, we've seen Westbrook kind of look better than he's ever looked, in my opinion. His shooting percentage is at an all-time high, 47%, not 50, but he looks a little more effective now that he's starting to get his feet wet. Do you see any team in the West challenging either the Lakers or Clippers, or are you one of those, like the rest of us, who kind of say Lakers and Clippers?
That small ball lineup is interesting because they're at this point 10-2 with that small ball lineup. I'm talking about the Houston Rockets. And their big men haven't fared that well against this smaller lineup. But as far as Denver and Utah, like Denver and Utah could be the 2 seed in the Western Conference. So they're not quite sleepers. Like a 6, like the Oklahoma City Thunder, which would be a sleeper. And they're playing incredible with Chris Paul.
I like the way they look because Shea's killing it. Shout out to Shea. Canadian, we see you doing your thing.
That's GA. But I like Denver. Jokic has been playing at an MVP caliber level, and I love Jamal Murray. He's just a cold shooter.
Canadian, shout out to Jamal. Shout out to Jamal Murray, Canadian.
So Denver and Utah, not quite sleepers. Obviously, the Clippers and the Lakers are overwhelming favorites, but I might sprinkle some money on the Denver Nuggets.
So let's talk about sprinkling a little bit. You're a betting man. Would you say yes or no?
I'm leaning more towards betting more often. I wasn't before I got this job with Bleacher Report. But now I'm putting money on futures. I bet on the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I got them at 15-1. They came through. I bet on them when Patrick Mahomes was out. So the line was a little bit more favorable. I'm really Raptors to win the Eastern Conference, win the NBA Finals, 18-1. Miami Heat 18-1. That's pretty good value. The Raptors I think go 9-1 to come out of the East, which is pretty good value. So now I'm looking at things like that.
I was like, ooh, can I take advantage of this?
I mean, obviously it's a crapshoot, but basketball generally the favorites tend to win.
It's more like certain than anything.
Than like baseball or football.
Well, honestly, it's crazy because in the offseason, I posted on my Instagram and I was like, I think it was the first preseason game. And I was like, Lamar Jackson really has a chance to win MVP. Coming off the way he ended last season and going through, he has a chance. And then the first game against Miami, we threw like 5 touchdowns, killed the Dolphins. And then the Dolphins, we saw what they were, so didn't really read much into that. But I wanted to bet on Lamar getting MVP. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to wait 5 months, 6 months to get this money that I'm possibly not even gonna win. So let me keep my money and make it bet on something that's more current, which is like, the
And so what did you bet on?
I lost. I think I just bet on the spreads for the week. And I'm like,
I mean, he was probably like a 30 or 40 to 1.
It was like
30 or 40 to 1 odds to win
high.
MVP.
And I was like, it was low. And I was like, you know what? Let me do it. But I was like, I'm gonna wait 6 months to not even get no change back. Like, that doesn't make no sense.
So you didn't do it?
I didn't do it. And I'm like, and then he was like the unanimous, like overwhelming favorite. And he's my favorite player on my favorite team. That really came back to haunt me.
The 49ers were 50-1 to win the Super Bowl last year. So this year I'm gonna be looking at some of those super long shots like the Atlanta Falcons or Tampa Bay Bucks.
Bounce back.
or even the Chargers. I'm going to be looking at some of those long shots to see, and perhaps sprinkle a few bucks on one of those, just in the event that they come through, because the NFL is so unpredictable. Injuries always happen.
Yeah,
and
trust me, I do fantasy.
Guys are never 100% by the time they get to the playoffs. Even though they say they are, they never are. There's so many bumps and bruises.
Yeah. Okay, so just going into your specific field where, your life, you've obviously done many interviews. You've been doing this for as long as I can remember. Do you have a favorite moment or a favorite interviewee that you've had where it's kind of like you maybe cracked the best joke with, or just had the most chemistry with? Or I'm gonna get into something specifically Kobe a bit later, just because I know he was really dear to you, really close to you. I didn't want to start with that just because that's a little, you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a heavy topic.
Yeah, I understand. Great moments, yes. I've had many, thankfully. The first time I drank from the Stanley Cup was an incredible moment for me, and I didn't earn that privilege, but I did it anyway.
Yeah, you got it.
That was 2008, and the goalie at the time, his name was Chris Osgood, played for the Detroit Red Wings. He summoned the Stanley Cup, brought it over, and then I put it to my lips, and I drank, and I didn't wipe the rim, and I should have wiped the rim of the Stanley Cup, because 100 other dudes drank from the Stanley Cup
for
that
years.
day before I got my lips on it.
You never know.
And it tastes very tinny. I mean, it's like it's a weird taste, because they just had like Bud Light or something terrible in there. So that was amazing. Every time I interviewed David Ortiz, he was very generous with his laughter, and it was a full-bodied, barreled chest laugh.
Like you laugh when you meant it.
Yeah, so that was always a great feeling to have those kind of interchanges with him. And the last time I interviewed him, I brought him like a bag. You know when you go to the grocery store and you buy food in bulk, and you just get that clear plastic bag?
Yeah.
There's a mint called Excel is the brand, and the mints, they're blue, they're light blue. They look like Viagra pills. So I bought like
I know where this is.
I bought like 2 boxes of those candies, and I just emptied them out into this clear bag. So it looked like a bulk bag of Viagra. So I handed it to him. I said, may all your endings from here on out be happy ones. And he goes, what is that? And he laughed. I said, it's something that rhymes with Niagara. And he just lost it. So that was really cool. This one time I spit gum into the lap of Steve Nash.
Shout out to Steve Nash, Canadian.
And Steve. It was so uncomfortable. It was the most uncomfortable moment of my life, because it landed like right in his bathing suit area. And then I had to decide, how am I going to get the gum out of his lap that I spit out while I was asking him a question. And I couldn't. I didn't want to just reach in with my hand. So I was wearing this stupid cowboy hat, and I was trying to hit the gum off of his
off his lap.
Yeah, and I just kept hitting his manhood, and the gum wouldn't.
It was stuck.
It was like it just wouldn't launch. And it finally did after like the 7th swipe. And that was uncomfortable, but he's forgiven me. Actually, we're gonna link soon when he comes to Las Vegas.
Oh, nice.
His daughter's volleyball tournament.
Okay.
I've had some great ones, and then the pinnacle of the interviews was I got to fly in a helicopter with Kobe Bryant, and that was very special.
Yeah.
And that was about 10 years ago, and I was the only person he gave that privilege to or opportunity to do an interview while we're in his helicopter. So that one is very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I was at a networking event. Shout out to Ace, Alicia West, works for Floor 95. Appreciate you. She was holding just a networking event, and she kind of looks out for me, lets me know kind of what's going on, place I need to be, people I need to be around. And it was a Sunday that we got the news. And and I was sitting there, and I was at the table. I had a drink in my hand, and I entered at TSN. I think I told you. I was about to go to the studio, and I think a couple people there knew that I was like a sports guy, or I did that. And I looked at my phone, and my homeboys hit me up, and they were like, "Yo, like look at this link," and it was
the TMZ link.
Yeah, and I was like, he looks way too happy in this picture. Like it was him like fully smiling, and I was like, what is this? Like, is this what the internet's doing now? And I was like, that can't be true. Like, Kobe was just, I assumed, I'm like, he was just in Philly because obviously LeBron passed him in scoring the previous night. So I'm like, there's probably just some haters talking about Kobe and LeBron and some saltiness, and I really didn't give any attention to it until, the TSN posted it, and the Score posted it, and Sportsnet posted it, and the news posted it, and I was like, yo, this is like really crazy? Like, what was I heard you have because I was actually working and you had a really touching, and I don't want to get back into it because obviously it's a deep thing, and I heard your speech and it was really well done. Just how was interviewing Kobe and what was he like as a person? Because obviously we see him as a basketball fan, just like killer on the court, no love, no, you know what I mean? Just cold. And now we're seeing all these videos of him showing all this love and him and his beautiful daughter, rest in peace. And just can you speak just a little bit on how positive and how uplifting Kobe was in person?
Yeah, he was very gracious with his time and generous, and my sole goal, at that time, was just to make him laugh and just to kind of crack this outer shell, this veneer of this like tremendous competitor.
Yeah.
And he let his guard down so that he could have a few human moments with a random chubby reporter from Toronto with a big doughy face and asking him ridiculous questions about where he lived and his phone number and how I could get there. Can I stay at his house? And I brought pillows and CDs to his place and pajamas, and I gave him a key to my own house, and I brought him random gifts.
Yeah.
And so that was like the continuing narrative over the course of story, I think like 20 interviews that we did, 21 interviews that we did together. So that much I appreciated. And because I was able to, because Kobe lowered his guard and showed a different side of himself and like humanized himself, I think the audience really appreciated it. And I certainly did because it elevated my career.
One of the funniest interviews that I think that you had that I laughed at the most, and I showed him earlier, was the one where you, I believe it was in LA, and you had the limo.
Oh yeah,
outside.
Yeah, of course.
And you watched that. It was funny. I mean, it was old school. You had the hat sideways, brim a little bit, and it wasn't Lakers. It said Lovers on the front.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, yo, like that's so. It's still surreal to me. One, that he's not here, and two, that like, he does have moments where a lot of us as fans wouldn't necessarily see, and people who are not maybe the sports people that watch your show all the time, like I did growing up. It's just interesting to hear what you have to say and to see that. So if you guys are listening, definitely check out Cabbie's older series. They're on YouTube, and he really did a lot of great interviews, a lot of great athletes.
Thank you.
Along with Kobe. There's also ones with Aaron Rodgers that I used to see you do, and just again, like with the touching and stuff like that. And we talked a little bit about that off mic and off cam. But what is that like? Obviously, being a streeter and being out on the public with regular people or with athletes, being all the close stuff and the touching. I'm not gonna do. But
so for whoever's listening to this, Jerome was just kind of touching my arm, just pantomiming the ridiculousness that I used to do.
Yeah.
So I started in 01 to like 02, and I was my segment was called Cabbie on the Street, and that's where I was really just invading college campuses, the mall, random streets around Toronto, and that's where I started interviewing random people, asking really stupid sports questions.
Yeah.
But then I really like honed this. So I would disarm athletes by touching them. I'd put my arm around them. I would hug them. I would look deeply into their eyes. I would put my hand on their chest because I wanted to feel their energy. And it was a way to just, to me, I was like letting them know that we were the same. Like we were just two dudes. One person is extremely talented and had put in over 10,000 hours to master their craft. Yeah. The other was just a fat gas bag who was asking stupid questions. So most of the athletes really, I don't want to say they appreciated it, but they allowed it to happen because it was just different.
Different.
And also I wasn't asking about a losing streak or a concussion or a fine.
Any negative stuff.
Yeah, I was there for entertainment purposes only. And once they understood that, okay, this guy is like, there's no agenda here. Yeah, then they played around a lot more, and the hockey guys were great for that. CFL guys are the best. Yeah, baseball guys were a little bit trickier. I had a few. So I'm going to shout out Vernon Wells and Jose Bautista for the Blue Jays. Those guys were the absolute best. Yeah. And as I mentioned before, David Ortiz, Pedro Martinez, I had some great interactions with, and Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter I'd only interviewed like once every other year.
Legendary.
And he was he was all business. The only time I ever interviewed Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, okay.
I saw him the day before, and he said he'd come back tomorrow. And then you kind of wait on the field for like 2 hours for these guys to go out and just stretch and just kind of dick around. Yeah. Keep it real. Comes off the field, and I said, when I asked him, I said, can I have a couple of questions after BP? He's like, okay. I said, is it a TV interview? I was like, yes. He's like, all right. So in his mind, he's like, literally 2 questions.
Yeah.
So he comes off the field. I'm like, hey, man, how you doing? He's like, I'm good. 1 more question. I was like, no, that was just an introduction. That was small talk. That wasn't part of the interview.
Yeah.
So I asked him 2 more questions, and then he left. It was less than 60. It was 57 seconds, the whole interview. And I had to use every second of it because that's all I had.
That's all you had.
But I was like, oh my gosh, this guy really stuck to the time.
Yeah.
Getting back to, my tactics and what have you, that's when I applied and it worked pretty well because these athletes are not expected to be touched by the media or by anybody.
By anybody, yeah.
And then
brave
here
soldier.
I am. But yeah. But listen, I had a camera and a microphone, so I wasn't under any physical threat.
Yeah.
Because it would just, it would be a viral moment before the word viral was applied to clips that were shared. And also, I came up in an era where we just called videos. We didn't call it content.
Yeah,
it wasn't
was
like
different.
Creating content. The phrase content creator wasn't around. It was just, we were doing stupid videos.
Yeah.
And we found a little bit of success with them.
Yeah, nice.
I don't know if I answered your question. We're
good.
Whole diatribe here for 45 seconds.
No, we're good. A few more questions. I know you got to get out of here. I know you do your Music Mondays.
Thank you.
And I have.
Someone was making fun of me the other day about it. Where was I? Who was I with?
Make fun of you how? Like the music selection or just the fact that you do it?
The fact that I do it. Oh my gosh, who was making fun? Was it Norm? I saw Norm.
Norman Powell, for people who don't know who Norm.
Normie. I call him Normie, and I stole that from Terrence Ross. Normie, yeah, and he hates it. Normie and I were in Vegas having a fun time.
Yeah.
And shout out to Norm Powell, good dude, very good dude. And you know what? I met his crew, and I actually was telling the story recently.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll meet, like you'll have a friend and you'll meet that friend's boys.
Yeah.
Actually, Norm and I aren't friends. We know each other. I wouldn't say we're
cordial,
friends.
Yeah.
And then sometimes some dudes are like standoffish or they're just not really that welcoming.
Yeah.
His boys were great, and I was kind of expecting that.
Yeah.
But his boys were dope. They're all like, hey man, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know, I'm just a random Canadian dude.
Yeah.
But these guys are his boys from I think Norm grew up in San Diego and then went to UCLA, but all the boys were just cool, and I really appreciated that. And I was like, all right, Norm, you roll with some real ones.
Yeah.
And so I want to thank him for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was your question?
Oh.
What was? I'm sorry. I derailed it. Oh, you were getting into Music Mondays. Yes, and music. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Music Mondays. So what made you start that? And do you have a top 5 favorite artist list?
Did you say artists?
Artist list.
Oh, artist list.
What did I say?
I thought you said artists.
Artists?
Artist list.
Is that a word?
No, that's not a word.
No?
That's what I thought you said. I started maybe like 4 years ago, and I think I saw. Well, there's the alliteration of Music Monday, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start posting these lists, and I don't know if anybody's gonna listen to these.
Yeah.
But it's just something that I want to do because my whole career, I've been in music and pop culture and sports.
Yeah.
And I want to stay in that lane. I've carved out a little bit of a niche for myself in those 2 lanes because in my interviews with athletes, sometimes I'll reference pop culture things. It could be about technology like phones, or it could be sneaker culture, it could be music, movies. And then when I interview celebrities, like entertainers, I'm trying to think of something that I did with Kevin. Oh, Kevin Hart once, and we started singing a John Legend song. Poorly, but we sang, that's how we started the interview.
Yeah.
So I'll infuse, actually no, that was pop culture, but I'll infuse sports into there as well.
You mixed it.
Yeah, I tried to.
Yeah.
The last time I interviewed Drake, we spoke about him being a bandwagon fan, and he likes Alabama because his name is Aubrey, and he said the Alabama logo is that sort of has a script, kind of a serif font.
So does the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, very similar logo. But anyway, so I'll infuse sports the other way. Okay, so Music Mondays. So there used to be a site called Nah Right. Nah Right, I'm gonna tell you this. Nah Right, Two Dope Boys, and OK Player were the 3 sites that I used to go to the most often when I wanted to hear new music.
Okay.
And Nah Right has unfortunately been discontinued. OK Player I still check in with, and that's the website that the Roots started.
Okay.
And then Two Dope Boys, I don't know who started that one, but actually before Two Dope Boys it was On Smash, and then On Smash got seized by the government. So I said, Two Dope Boys. But I know you're an Audio Mac guy. There are a couple other sites that I don't tell people about that I go to. Yeah, I keep on the low to find my new music. And these are just, everybody has a frequency that like certain vibes appeal to them. So I have a frequency, and that's generally some of the songs that I like to put out there, that I like to promote. Like, hey, this is what I'm listening to. These are the 10 songs. So I just saw G-Eazy the other day, and I didn't go up to him, but I like G-Eazy. G-Eazy reminds me of Drake in some ways because they have a similar flow. It's very clean, and he has some of Drake's cadences, and obviously I'm a huge Drake fan like everybody else is. But I think he's kind of funny, and but I didn't say what's up to him. I should have, but I respect him. He's now dating Megan Thee Stallion, so he gets ultimate respect. Respect. My goodness. Megan Thee Stallion, bro?
Yo, but the thing with...
Thoroughbred.
The thing with Meg is that... the smile, I can't do the smile, man. She be smiling, it's like...
I mean, listen.
And we're funny people. I like to laugh. You like to laugh.
I don't want to, listen, okay. Someone that looks like me should not make fun of the way other people look. So I generally do not. Those bullets stay in the chamber.
And stay in the clip?
Because words and bullets, you can't ever get them back. Once they're out there, they're out there.
Meg, I love you. Top artist. You're not checking for me, Meg. But if you are, I see you.
She might in 4 or 5 years.
You know, I'll be here.
Okay. So do I have a favorite artist list? No, I don't have a favorite artist list. But I have the artists that they change like every year.
There's so much now.
New dudes that come up. And just like, wow, I'm really effing with this person's vibe.
Do you have any new particular, or what do you think? And this is probably the last question. I'm gonna wrap it up. But in terms of like the new generation, and we're seeing all like Pop Smoke, for example, RP to Pop Smoke, and
definitely.
You know what I mean? Do you think that the generation of music can do something, maybe like, you can't change it now because it kind of it's what it is and it's what sells. But is there a way to lower, the allure of the hood life or the crime life? I see. Like, because how much more of these young, like one of my favorite artists that's younger at the time was Kodak Black. And I think Kodak I get dragged sometimes for because I'll be putting songs I like in my Instagram story too, that I think I don't really know who listens, if anybody listens to it, but those just kind of my vibe. And he has his legal issues and stuff like that, but
a lot of legal issues.
Can you speak to just any of, like, what would you say, or maybe just help guide the younger generation in terms of like, just you don't have to live that life to be a successful rapper, or because how much more are these young people who have so much potential that never get to live up to it have the same fate as Pop Smoke?
Well, a lot to unpack there, because a lot of these artists, they are narrating their life experience and they're speaking their truths. And unfortunately, in the United States, there's still a lot of us that live in poverty or live in these areas with high crime because of the poverty. So they're going to tell those stories. And that makes sense because those are authentic experiences. When you have like the J. Coles and the Kendricks and, before them, the Kweli's and the Kanye's.
The Commons and...
The Commons. I mean, you have artists and Hove. I mean, Hove started on the street, but now his hustle is like Basquiat paintings.
He's on a different level.
And he's talking about investing for the next generation. So sometimes what is cool is what people will gravitate towards. And unfortunately, sometimes these songs and these tales that we really like become cool. I mean, it's up to...
At people's expense, essentially.
Yes, and so it comes to the individual, and the individual is like, I'm gonna tell my life story, but am I gonna tell it like a gripping, haunting tales or really grisly details, or am I gonna try to, flip the coin and, I'm trying to think of art. Am I gonna flip the coin and am I gonna record an entire album about being in love, like Chance the Rapper did about his wife? And Chance the Rapper's from Chicago.
And
like
he kind of got killed for it too a little bit.
I mean, that's unfortunate because, like, when you fall in love, sometimes your life changes. And when you have a dope one, and he does, his wife and his I think he's got 2 kids now. That's where he is in his particular space. Kanye too. Kanye is. I don't know if he's all the way done it, but he's making gospel music cool. Those Sunday services and that record, like, I think of Follow God, which is a dope record.
Yeah, and I like the album. A lot of people, my homeboys, like, yo, turn that off. I'm like, yo, I understand it's not for everybody.
It isn't for everybody,
but
yes.
You have to respect the growth. Because like you said, like, when the people are not getting shot at or getting shot and killed, you know, they're trying to elevate, which is also like, why are you switching up? Or why are you doing that? So I think that, like you said, the gospel album or the route that he's trying to go on, people need to stop killing Kanye for what people love Kanye for, and that was being different.
And, well, you know, we might see more, and I mentioned Kendrick, and I think of the song Duckworth, where he does paint some really grisly details about perhaps he killed somebody or
or not.
Or not. But then I think of, like, the Black Panther album, and maybe if we see more of a proliferation of positive images in the culture or in I suppose in the culture, maybe that will reverberate more with young people and the kind of stories, the kind of narratives that they want to tell. I don't really have the right answer, but hopefully there'll be more positive stories being told. And I gotta salute Chance the Rapper, like, for writing a whole record about being in love. And he got dragged for it, but man, that's him living his truth. He's in love with his wife.
For sure.
Can't knock him for that.
For sure. All right, last question. Raptors finals. They're making it.
Man.
They're not making it, Cap? I mean, there's about 45 minutes ago where I could have heard someone say, "I'm not switching up. I'm a Raptors fan."
Oh, listen, fandom is being emotional and unrealistic about your teams.
Yeah.
You know, your homie Adam said, "I'm a Cleveland Browns fan." Like, there is this probably has unrealistic expectations or measured expectations about the success of his franchise.
Yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to win MVP again.
Yeah,
he is the best defensive player via defensive win shares in the NBA, and they're beating teams by 12 points.
Yeah.
And they have both of the Lopez brothers to guard the rim.
Yeah.
So Giannis can just...
And Robin is shooting now, too.
Yes, he can just patrol the perimeter.
Yeah.
And in times where Nick Nurse is going to have a box and one or a 2 in a triangle to try to contain Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton will be shooting at a 45% clip.
And he's underrated.
So if the Raptors are at full strength with Marc Gasol, Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet, Pascal, and Kyle, and then, that the role players all at full strength,
and
it will be a compelling series.
Yeah. But
then, are we gonna pass Boston?
That's it. Or Philly if we get that team, or Miami.
Philly is imploding, but Philly, they just need to be great for 2 months, which is a lot to ask because the team is imploding. Joel Embiid just got injured. His left shoulder. Will the Raptors be in the final? I hope so.
You hope so.
But I'm measuring my expectations.
You're a betting man, so now you're thinking,
No, but 18-1 is nice. Or that 9-1 to win the East, I might put $100 on it. See how it goes.
All right, man. So, this is the first
piece of JKB Sports merch.
Yeah. Dad hat. I want to present this to you, Cab.
Thank you. This is an audio medium, so I'm wearing a gray. But some of you guys might watch this.
Charcoal. It's not just any grays. It's charcoal gray.
Charcoal gray with the basketball logo, with the lemon and the mandarin colors, with the JKB Sports.
Let them know.
It's like a rainbow. It's like an arc over the basketball podcast underneath. I appreciate the merch. I'm gonna rock this.
Let them know. Appreciate you guys for listening. Appreciate you guys for coming on. And Cab, obviously, man, I owe you so much.
You owe me nothing.
I owe him nothing.
You owe me nothing except your own greatness.
Yes, Cab. If you don't know who this man is by now, you're tripping.
I'm just the man.
Cab, you want to shout your Instagram or your Twitter and let people know what you got going on?
On Instagram, you can find me at @TheRealCabbie. On Twitter, you can just find me at Cabbie, Cabbie. And I work for Bleacher Report on the Bleacher Report betting vertical. So we're doing a bunch of content out of Las Vegas. We're going to lean into March Madness, the Masters, NBA playoffs, start of baseball, which is interesting again because who the hell really rocked with baseball until this season?
The Astros,
Yeah, the Astros getting hit by pitches. So that's where you can find my content. I hope you guys can check it out.
Appreciate you guys. Also, you guys know me, Jerome. JKB Sports is the Instagram with the Z. The Twitter is JKB Sports Pod with the Z. Gotta switch it up, give it some flavor. Look out for the next pod. I got another interesting guest coming up. You don't want to miss it. Again, appreciate Cabbie for coming on. We out.
Peace.